Hey sis, what's going on? What's going on? That's what's up. Hey Latasha, what's going on, sweetie? I just shared it to my Facebook wall, so we're gonna have some of these late people come. You know, I like starting on time. Want to be mindful of people's time. But for those that are here, and I'm sure people are gonna jump on. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. For those that are jumping on, I want to say welcome to this week's edition of the Motivation to Elevation podcast. And if you missed last week's podcast, which was the first one, when you get a chance, make sure you go back and watch it, because the response that I got from that podcast was so overwhelming. My phone blew up. Facebook wall, Facebook messages, text messages, etc. All of that blew up, and I'm still getting comments about it. And you just don't know what people are going through. And so one thing about me is that regardless to what may be going on with me personally, I feel like I have an obligation to speak life and speak positivity to someone else, because we don't know how timely a word of encouragement can be to someone who's on the verge of giving up. And so that's why I do what I do. And that's why I finally got out of my comfort zone, finally stopped putting it off, stop procrastinating, and decided to do these podcasts because it's needed, especially in the times that we live in. And so for those of you who are just jumping on for the first time, allow me to reintroduce myself and allow me to introduce myself. My name is Arian Tyson. I am streaming live from my office. It actually feels good to say I have an office, but I'm streaming from my office here in St. Louis. Proud St. Louis native, regardless to how the media portrays us, good things do come from the STL. And so I'm here and I'm ready to just dive into a subject that's really sensitive. And so the topic for tonight is going to be discussing why you must let go of toxic people and relationships. That's the topic. Oh, best believe more to come, sis. Best believe. Because I'm just getting started. I've been putting this off for too long, but I'm back. I'm hungry with a vengeance. And I have an opportunity to make my dream a reality. And not only that, I have an opportunity to help others become the best version of themselves. That's what it's all about for me. And if I'm doing that, then everything else will fall into place. I believe that, and I'm standing on it, period. With that being said, this is a topic that is really, really, really sensitive, and it's really personal. And I'm just hoping that I do justice. And if I say something that resonates with you, feel free to share. Feel free to share this live stream. Feel free to comment below, because I do check my comments and I do respond. Not only that, but also share it using the hashtag motivation, the number 2, elevation, all together. That's my hashtag. That's the one. That's my personal hashtag. That's what I'm using. And I'll be able to check that even after this podcast is over with and people watch it at another time, so on and so forth. But with that being said, when I was a kid, I grew up hearing fairy tales like Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, Snow White. And all these stories had something in common. Each story would end with the love interest living happily ever after. Yet as I've gotten older, I truly believe that those are nothing but fairy tales. For many people, they grow up not realizing that this is a false and unrealistic narrative, because the real relationships and real love is the complete antithesis of those fairy tales I mentioned. When you enter into a relationship of any kind, expecting perfection, you'll ultimately be disappointed. Now, as I mentioned in the last podcast, behind the mask, behind the foundation and the mental mascara, we wear scars that have not properly healed, and signs, and we ignore signs. Those scars are often a result of wanting something or someone similar to what we see in a movie, to what we read in a book, to what we see on television, maybe back in the day, because what we see on TV now is completely garbage. Or maybe what we observed from watching someone or watching a couple that walks around acting like everything is perfect. But anyone, and I know that there are people that are in relationships on, I know that there are people that are married on, they can tell you for themselves that every day is not peaches and cream. You're going to have arguments, but you have to remember the commitment that you establish, especially if you marry. You have to remember the commitment, remember the vows that you took on that wedding day. That's very important. And so what we must realize is, the truth is that every man and every woman is flawed. And Michelle, you absolutely right. Nobody's perfect. Every man is flawed. Every woman is flawed. No matter how you beat your face, no matter how your eyebrows are on fleek, and I can't stand that word. I just can't stand that word. I just can't. But no matter how much your eyebrows are on fleek, don't matter. You're still flawed. And people have bad habits, attitudes, and problems that prevent a relationship from becoming everything that it could be. They also may be guilty of contaminating great relationships because of unresolved internal issues, causing healthy relationships to become toxic. Toxic relationships come in all forms. It can be between friends, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, family members, partners, etc. A toxic person can be your mother or your father or your sibling or a relative. It's usually someone that is closest to you. And what we must realize is, removing yourself from a toxic relationship is hard enough, because there are no instructions to walking away from a toxic family member. Having a toxic mate or family member leaves you with a range of feelings. Feelings of confusion, feelings of obligation, feelings of pain, feelings of guilt, feelings of betrayal, feelings of grief. Having said all that, I want to share with you 3 reasons why you must let go of toxic people and toxic relationships. Reason number one, it's better to be alone than in bad company. Now, don't get this twisted. Being alone and being lonely are not the same thing. Staying in bad company can actually be more hurtful and harder to bear than being by yourself. When you're out of the relationship, you can look back and analyze what happened and what warning signs you should have seen coming. This can help you be prepared if the next relationship starts taking the same turns. So you can either correct it or get out of it before you become utterly miserable. Because as we all know, misery loves company. This is especially difficult when the toxic party in the relationship is a family member, such as a parent, such as a sibling, such as a close relative, such as a spouse. However, the same basic principles apply. Toxic people tend to stay toxic. I'm going to say that again. Toxic people tend to stay toxic. But there's no reason, no good enough reason for you to put up with it. If they want to be miserable, that's their choice and that's their problem. Why? Because you deserve to be happy. Even if it means cutting them out of the equation of your life. The best way to stop toxic behavior, you got to take a look at yourself. You got to do an inventory on yourself. You have to look at your own behavior. And what I mean by that is you may have a mate or spouse or know somebody that may be manipulating, lying, passive aggressive, hurtful, or physically abusive. Because I know plenty of people that have been in abusive relationships, whether physically or emotionally. But they are continuing to act this way because, unfortunately, and you may not like this, but nobody is 100% blameless. It's because you allow it. What are you doing? Ask yourself, what are you doing to stand up for yourself and to stop the way they treat you? How do you react when they disrespect and hurt you? What is that toxic person's reaction when you choose to stand up to them? Chances are they'll back down. You'll see that they are quite manipulative in their reaction to being confronted. A family member will play the victim and try to corral other family members and isolate you, and they may treat you harshly as well, even though you haven't done anything to them. Trust me, I know what I speak of. But the reality is this. Toxic people will flat out lie about what you've confronted about. The toxic person will make up stories to disarm your interpretation of the truth, and they will redirect the indictments you're accusing them of towards you. All scenarios will point back to that toxic person, making themselves the victim in the eyes of everyone around them. The things the toxic person says, what those around he or she will say to you and accuse you of, may make you feel like you're the crazy person. Know that the redirection is just another manipulation to make you question the validity to your claims, your recollection of your account of events, and question your own emotions and make you feel like you're crazy, make you feel like you're overreacting, make you feel like you are dramatic. But let me tell you something. Don't question yourself. You have a right to stand up for your well-being, stand up for your emotions, and for your sanity. And Michelle, I love you too. Hey, Mama T, I saw you hop on. Here's what I know. If you don't remember nothing else, get this. If you carry the bricks from your past relationship, you will end up building the same house. I'm going to say that again. If you carry the bricks from your past relationship or past relationships, you will end up building the same house. And you can tell somebody to run tell that. You can tell them I said it. You can put it on a shirt. I said it. Reason number 2. Toxic relationships often become abusive ones. Toxic relationships don't have far to fall to become psychologically, emotionally, physically, or even sexually abusive. Especially if you have kids. You owe it to them to show them what an open, loving, and caring relationship can be. Your children are going to follow your example. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Kids imitate what they see. And if they see mommy or daddy staying with someone who constantly says he or she is worthless or strikes him or her, your kids are going to fall into the same trap as adults. You deserve better than that. But you need to bear in mind that if your partner is willing to hurt you or strike you physically or emotionally, it's possible, but not definitively speaking, a matter of time before they start doing the same thing to your children. You got to be careful about that. Why? Because your partner doesn't think you have the courage to stand up to them or even leave. Toxic relationships can possibly lead to social and emotional isolation. They can also cause anxiety, depression, physical illness, or even lead to suicidal thoughts and actions. This ignores entirely the possible emotional and physical harm an abusive partner can perpetrate on you. What we must realize is you'll be surprised at how cheap walking away is compared to going to therapy or spending time taking antidepressants, especially when children are involved. I understand that this is the holiday season and people don't want to be alone. But can I share something with you all? The body is more open to depression during this time of year. Be aware and guard your spirit. Watch your emotions during the changing of the season. And finally, number 3, the third reason why you must let go of toxic people and toxic relationships is this. You are worth more than what a toxic person or relationship could ever offer. You're worth it. A toxic relationship is extremely one-sided. It's all about one person to the exclusion of the other. This can leave you feeling worthless, hopeless, and helpless. The reality is this. You are none of the above. You're none of the above. You are your own person with your own unique voice, your own unique value, and things to offer to the world. Anyone who tells you otherwise is doing so precisely so they can keep you under their thumb. You know you're worth more. So be worth more. Get yourself off the clearance rack. I'm going to say it again. Get yourself off the clearance rack. If you know your worth, then stop downplaying yourself. Walking away from a toxic relationship is the first step to finding something beautiful with someone who will love and treasure you because of everything you are, not in spite of it. Walking away shows personal strength and the courage to stand on your own 2 feet without someone else having to rubber stamp your daily activities or your life. And for those that think that jealousy is a good thing in a relationship, I regret to inform you that it's not. Jealousy is not a good thing in a relationship. And chances are, the reason that a person becomes jealous is because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in a relationship, you ain't got time to worry about what another person might be doing. If you know that you're handling your business in whatever area of life may take you, you have a responsibility to know your worth. You have a responsibility to know that if they can't see you for who you are and for what you provide and the value that you provide, you're better off without them. Because trust me when I tell you this, and I'm looking directly in the camera when I tell you this, I am a living witness and I can attest to you with the fact that I know that there is life after. You don't have a clue what I've been through. Some of you do know what I've been through. Some of you know what I'm going through right now. But the fact is, I still know, and I can still attest to you, in the midst of the pain, while I transform my pain into power, I can still tell you, I can still encourage you and tap your pulse and help you realize that you are worth more. You are not your past. You are not the mistakes that you've made. You are not the mistakes that people want to hold over your head and they sit up and act like they're better than everybody else. I got news for you. Ain't nobody better than you unless you allow them to think that they better than you. Period. Understand this, and I'm about to wrap this up. We must realize that we have been designed to live out our life purposefully. We have a purpose. That's why we're still here. See, the people that have gone on, they fulfilled their purpose. They have fulfilled it. That's why the Most High, God, Yah, whatever you want to call him, that's why he called him home. That's something I'm still dealing with, even with the loss of my dad. But I understand that it's up to me and my brothers to carry on our family legacy. See, that's what it's about. If you're not building a legacy, if you don't have somebody besides you that's going to help you fulfill that legacy, they're wasting time. Time is our most precious commodity. We can't get it back. We can't get it back. Ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? Who are you allowing? Who are you putting your energy into and your resources into? Ask yourself that and be truthful. Because I know that Thanksgiving is in 2 days and we have a lot to be thankful for. And even I can say, even after all the hell I've been through this year, I can still say I have some things to be thankful for. I can still say that. So if I can say that, you have no excuse. Too much time has been wasted. And all of us don't want to get to the point where we say we coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's too many people that have gone to glory saying that. It's always been hard for me to go to a cemetery. Here's why. Because when you go to a cemetery, that's where you see a lot of books that are not published, a lot of songs that are not recorded, and a lot of dreams that are unfulfilled in the cemetery, because they allowed somebody toxic to cause them to not live out their purpose, to not live out their dreams. We don't have time for that. We don't. So I want to encourage you tonight. If you know, or if you know someone that is in the midst of a toxic relationship, or they find themselves surrounded around toxic people, tell them they need to remove themselves out of the situation, or remove those people out of their lives. They need to separate themselves. As my grandmother used to say, as far as the east is from the west. You have no more time to waste with them. This year is coming to an end. It's not even promised that you're going to see 2017. So while you have the time, while you have breath in your body, make your life count for something. Make it count for something. With that being said, if you got value from this, please let me know. Feel free to share this live stream, share this podcast. This is my heart, y'all. This is my heart. You know, this is helping me. And if this podcast is any indication like the last one, it's going to help some people. It's helping people. And that's what I'm about. And I'm telling you, it's much more to come. It's much more to come, because I procrastinated long enough. And yeah, I'm taking personal responsibility. And for those that have shared it on their wall, thank you so much, because this is something I've been putting off. And some people are just now finding out about it. And they're probably kicking me because I've been telling you to do that for a long time, and so on and so forth. But now, it's not even about me. It never really was about me. It's not about me. People are hurting. People on the verge of giving up. People in the midst of a struggle. But I'm here to tell you, you can make it. You can make it. And if I'm the only one that's going to speak life into you, then I'll be that one. But it's not over for you. Once you remove those toxic people, and once you let go of those toxic relationships, don't tell me sky's the limit. Why? Because there are footprints on the moon. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much to everybody that has hopped on. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. This is something that's been in me. This was a sensitive subject for me. And I just wanted to give it everything I have, because you're taking time out of your schedule, and I appreciate it. And just know that my blog is almost complete. It's going live in the next 48 hours. And the website will be www.motivation2elevation.com. And so we're going to just go to higher heights and deeper depths. You will be challenged. You will be encouraged. You will be motivated. You will be inspired, because that's why I earned the nickname, the Moving Motivator. That's what I do. And I didn't go to school. I didn't take a class for this. I didn't sit in a seminar for this. This is something that was just inside of me. This is my gift. And I understand that now. And so now I'm living it out, and I'm living it unapologetically. So with that being said, thank you so much. I'm wrapping this up. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Central. And I will be coming back at you to challenge you, to encourage you, to motivate you, because we are better than where we are right now. And where you are right now is simply where you are right now. It does not mean you're going to stay there. So with that, have a blessed night. I love you all. Thank you so much. God bless.